You know, I wouldn't classify myself as an MMA casual. Wouldn't classify myself as an MMA hardcore fan. I think I float and sit around the middle, to be honest. And I see being an MMA fan, being a UFC fan, is definitely hard. It takes a big toll on you, financially, mentally, and spiritually, and emotionally, somewhat. Man, oh man, oh man! If there was any, at all the years I've been watching MMA, watching pugilistic sports, if there was any ending that you wish doesn't happen or you dread of it possibly happening and hope it doesn't happen is a crazy freak accident and injury right when the fight starts. UFC 329. Out of every event that could have happened this year for it to be for Conor McGregor's return fight against Max Holloway, I just sit there. You feel kind of depressed sitting at home, to be honest. I just can't believe it. Even hours after it happened, I'm still sitting there processing what happened and trying to just run that scenario right back through my mind of how that played out. But what sucks so much about this card is the fact that the rest of the card from the preliminaries all the way to the main card, you had some great fights. That was probably the best fight card of the year. You can argue with that Noah House and a few other cards, but I just think that was the best card of the year so far this season. And you got finishes from top to bottom. You got Brandon Royval getting the finish over Kavanaugh. I thought that was a very interesting fight. You know, Kavanaugh was able to get hurt Royval later on in the fight. I thought initially when the fight started that Brandon just looked way too big. It looked like he was a whole weight class above this dude. And the fact that they're at the lowest weight flyweight for males fighters, and the fact that it still looked like they were a weight class apart, is just crazy to me. But he was able to get that. He was a rear naked. He first had it in the arm triangle, then he changed it to a rear naked. He was able to get the job done. That was a great banging fight for sure. Back and forth competitive. Obviously, Bobby Green, they started off the main card just going at it, man. They came ready to knuckle up, ready to throw leather. Bobby Green was able to weather the storm because he was getting pieced up on the feet, on the cage. I know he said what he said after the fight. He was just getting warmed up, but it didn't look like that the way he was getting hit. But he was able to escape that back mount from McKinney and was able to reverse it, get back to his feet, and put on the show and close the lights on McKinney's fight. So he did what he had to do in terms of getting that fight done. Even though the stoppage was kind of weird, considering the round was just about to end and it ended and he stopped the fight. But I guess he made the right call in terms of the referee. So that was a banging fight. Like I said, I enjoyed that fight. The Sanhagen Batista fight, Batista was able to rewrite his wrongs and get the win. It looked like Sanhagen got hurt with his own leg injury, which should have been a foreshadowing to come, to be honest. But he was able to get the job done, control Sanhagen, able to throw some good shots at distance, not fall into the game and trying to just play that foot switching and changing stances and trying to fight him at distance. He was getting inside. He got a couple takedowns, really wore him down. So he did what he had to do. Shock of the night was obviously the co-main. Obviously, we know what happened in the main event, but the co-main was crazy. I thought the fight was going to be a 15-minute war back and forth. I thought both of their grapplers would cancel each other out, but Paddy the Baddy was able to get it done, man. I don't know. I think Benoit Saint Denis got a little overzealous trying to grapple with him and kind of made a mistake. And I definitely, if he wanted to play that over, he definitely wouldn't have charged him as much as he did and try to be so aggressive to get the fight to the ground. He kind of rushed into it. But Paddy gets a good win and puts himself in position to have a chance to go for a championship fight possibly down the road with Justin Gaethje if Gaethje sticks around. So maybe a fight against Max Holloway or something like that. It could play out. So we'll see what happens with that. He did a great job, like I said. Back to the drawing board for Saint Denis. Definitely was not a good performance by him. But it was definitely exciting. That had me so pumped up. Obviously, Gable Stevenson, he came out, like I said, slaughtered the lambs type of deal where he came in and got rid of his opponent, Alicia, pretty easily. Took some shots in there, too, early on. He took some big shots. He was able to eat through and walk through them. But when you start fighting guys with higher talent pool and more on the totem pole going forward in terms of the matchups at heavyweight, he's going to have to work a little bit more on his defense because he was definitely getting hit early on. And he was able to get the fight to round and was able to win the fight. So he did what he had to do. In terms of Cody Garbrandt, brother, it's time to hang it up. It's time to walk away, go do something else, or take a long ass way off. He got knocked out silly tonight, and his chin just isn't there anymore. He's taking too much damage, too many shots throughout his career. It's time for him to walk away. He ain't got nothing else left to prove in this business. It's time to go, you know. Or like I said, take a long ass layoff because that was a bad knockout. So, in terms of the first fight on the preliminary card before the main event, Whitaker, he came through for me. I betted on him, so he came through and was able to get the win. Did a good job breaking Krolov's jaw. You know, he was hitting him with some really tough shots. The first round, it was looking a little spooky out there for Whitaker because Whitaker looked really severely undersized. He's another guy who looked kind of undersized at that weight, and Krov was a big dude. He was wearing him out at first, dragging him to the ground, making it tough. Whitaker did a good job defending and keeping the fight on the feet as best he could, but he had to weather that storm early. And it's going to be tough pickings as he goes up the ladder at light heavyweight. It's not going to get much easier because these dudes are some big-ass dudes. These ain't no small guys. So Robert was picking at him at distance, you know, hitting him with some good right hands. He was pulling Krolov's lead hand down and coming over the top with the right hand. And that last sequence was what basically ended the fight as he hit him with a really hard shot. And Krov kind of crumbled and said that was that. So that was a good fight, like I said. We'll see what happens with Whitaker at light heavyweight because, like I said, it's still early. He's going to be fighting a lot tougher competition going forward. Now, the main event, like I said at the beginning of this video, is tough. It's hard to watch. I feel bad for everybody that was there in attendance that paid thousands of dollars to be there and paid flights and tickets in town to go watch that fight. What can you say, man? 5 years off. When it comes to Conor McGregor, it just never bodes well for anybody. Nobody does very well coming back from that long of a layoff, and they're the same. And seeing now this man is about to be 38 years old. He is 38 years old now, and by the time he's back to being fully ready to go in terms of being able to fight, he's probably going to be pushing close to 40. So Conor's going to be in a real deep place. I see what he said on Twitter. You know, people were speculating that the fight was rigged because they think Conor came in compromised, which is kind of stupid because they showed footage of him in the locker room throwing that same sequence of kicks, throwing the same kicks, twerking off of that right knee. So to say he was injured going into that fight, I think people are blowing that shit out the water, blowing that way out of proportion. I think he was ready to go, was excited. I don't understand the tactic of throwing that kick out there like that. I get he was trying to probably get max respect and put on a little show for the fans before really settling in, but I just think he made a woefully bad judgment call throwing that, and you can see on the replay as they played it multiple times, his knee clearly buckled, clearly caved in. Looks like that's a clear classic sign of some type of tear within your knee. So I know he was gutted. Like I said, he didn't stay for interviews, kind of walked out. He kind of got booed too. I don't know if people noticed that when Max told the crowd to give him some respect, they were booing his ass. So. And you know the boo birds and trolls online, whether celebrities, MGK or Jake Paul, some of these guys are coming out clowning him already. I never like to kick somebody while they down, especially when they go through an injury like that, because that's serious. Clowning somebody's injury is not cool at all. I don't care who it is. It's kind of weak to me, because those dudes ain't got the balls to get in there and step in there in the octagon and fight. So, as far as Max Holloway, he goes on. Like I said, he did what he had to do. He didn't really push the pressure on Conor because obviously he could tell the dude was compromised, so it was like no point. He'll go on to have probably another big fight, maybe fight Armin or somebody down the totem pole, maybe a rematch against Gaethje for the title. I wouldn't mind seeing that. He's talking about running it back. I'm one of the type of people, I'm just shaking my head. I think that was it for Conor. You broke your leg 5 years ago in your left leg, and now you gotta do a whole rehab on your right knee that's possibly an ACL or meniscus tear. It's not looking good, you know. So, like I said, that just took the oomph on that main event. Just took the oomph out of yourselves as a fan, because it's like it was such a great card, and I feel like that main event was going to be shaping up to be a banger of card, whether it be 1 round, 2, 3, 4 rounds, even if it was a 5-round war. Kind of looked rejuvenated. He looked strong, big, but it just the magic he had years prior just wasn't there tonight. You know, it sucks. He's gonna be probably sitting at home really under a big heavy cloud compared to what happened because of what happened. So we'll see. You know, it sucks as a fan considering the fact that I said in my preview I had a bad feeling for Conor going into this fight because I just didn't like some of the things I was seeing in the pre-fight coverage. In terms of things he was saying, sometimes it just felt like a dude that was kind of walking out to the end of his career. I pray and hope that it isn't the end for him, that he can come back and recover, but it just, injuries at that age and at that time period and that much of a layoff, it just makes it harder and harder, man. But we'll see what happens going forward. I wish him nothing but the best, obviously. I definitely am curious to see what the numbers is on this card in terms of how many people viewed it, who watched it. It seemed like everybody was there, from Mike Tyson, the who's who of God, Max Crosby, guys from all different sports. And obviously UFC fighters was there, celebrities. Yeah, Sophie Cunningham coming out there. But we'll see. Definitely gutted. If you're an MMA casual fan, or even a hardcore fan, or just a fan like me in general who likes pugilistic sports, who really, really enjoys seeing great combat with two great fighters, two legends in there fighting. So see it end like that definitely took the wins out of everybody's sails. People were calling it rigged, like I said. I think they're fucking idiots. So I just think it was a freak accident. It happens. And we move on. So we'll see what happens in the coming months until we get a determination of what happened to his knee. But I think we can all agree as MMA fans in general, this sucks. But thank you guys all for watching. And as always, until we meet again.